So the recently revealed Project Q handheld that Sony announced a few months back finally has a name, is now the PlayStation Portal. Now, this is coming in around $200, which I feel is teetering on the edge of being too much. I was fully expecting it to come in around $250, if not even $300, just knowing how Sony is. But so I was kind of surprised pleasantly that it's coming around $200. Now, I still feel that it's a bit steep considering what this device does do, or I should say what it doesn't do, and that's playing games natively on the device. This is a remote play only device. If you look at it here, it pretty much looks like a tablet that is sitting between the DualSense controller that has been split in half. It looks kind of ridiculous. I don't think it's as bad, in my opinion, as some people say it is, but it definitely looks a little silly as in comparison to how the PSP and the PlayStation Vita had looked back when those came out, being a single device that is kind of like one piece. So honestly, like I said, I think the look of it looks kind of silly, but it isn't the worst thing. I feel that the two things that Sony's doing wrong with this device is, one is not being able to let games play natively on your device. So this is, like I said, a remote play only device where you actually have to have a PlayStation 5 to use. There's no way around that. If you don't have a PlayStation 5, don't get this device because you won't be able to use it. It'll just basically be a brick. There's no apps, no way to play things natively on it. It is just only for remote play. And that, I think, is a big issue with it. And the other issue I have with it as well is no Bluetooth. So if you have any Bluetooth headphones, if you have any like earbuds or any kind of gaming headset that uses Bluetooth that is not made from Sony, that is not the new earbuds they're coming out with or the new Pulse headphones they're coming out with, those will not work with the PlayStation Portal. Now, I feel that is a big issue in my opinion as well, because there's a lot of people out there, myself included, who actually have Bluetooth headphones they won't actually use with this device. And they can't because there's no Bluetooth on it. And a lot of people, and I would even say, this kind of reminds me of what like Nintendo did with the Nintendo Switch. When the Nintendo Switch first came out, it originally had no Bluetooth. You had to use a Bluetooth dongle to actually get Bluetooth on the device. And that wasn't even made by Nintendo. That was the third parties that would actually make these dongles that you would actually use, plug it into the bottom of the device, and actually would give it Bluetooth. It wasn't until a few years after the Switch came out that actually Nintendo actually updated the Switch and actually gave it Bluetooth. Now I think it's great. I think that's great being able to use my headphones wirelessly with the Nintendo Switch. And I feel in 2023, there's no excuse for not having Bluetooth on there. This is honestly a cash grab type thing that Sony's trying to do here is, oh, okay, you bought our $200 handheld. On top of that, also while buying our $400 to $500 console. So we have about $600 to $700 of your money right there between the two devices. Let's try to squeeze a little bit more out of you by forcing you to buy one of our headsets if you want to use wireless headphones. And I think it's ridiculous. Now, this does have a headphone jack on it, so if you want to use wired headphones, you can. But I mean, me personally, I like using Bluetooth headphones, I like not having wires around, things like that. I think that's what they're kind of banking on a lot of people doing. I think they're kind of wanting a lot of people to go, well, I don't want to use wired headphones like I will if I have to. Some people will be forced to either go with their earbuds or their over-the-ear headphones, and that will just allow Sony to squeeze a little bit more money out of them. Going from the PlayStation Vita, which I love, and I still have a PlayStation Vita, I feel going from that to this is ridiculous because you used to be able to play some really good titles on the Vita that I feel that you really can't play anywhere else. They didn't port some of these games over. I personally love playing Uncharted Golden Abyss. That's one of my favorite titles on the Vita, but you can't play that anywhere else. It's not ported over to any of the consoles like the PS4, the PS5. It's not, you couldn't even play that actually on the PlayStation TV because it wasn't compatible with that either. So the only way you could play that is actually on the Vita. And I just feel it's kind of ridiculous that they're going from a system like that where you could play games natively, and remote play was a secondary feature. It wasn't the main feature of the system. It was, oh, hey, guess what? You can play all these great Vita titles. And oh, guess what? We also have remote play as well. So if you want to play some PS4 titles on your Vita, you can. It was kind of an added bonus thing. It was never the main highlight of what the Vita is. And that's what they're doing with the PlayStation Portal. They're actually making that the main feature, which doesn't make much sense because we've had remote play for years. We've had remote play on our devices for a long time. So I just kind of know. I will probably end up picking one of these up just so I can unbox it and give you guys my first impressions of the device and let you guys know whether you guys should pick one up yourself or not. But that being said, keep in mind, if you already use remote play on your phone or tablet or whatever, you already have a PlayStation Portal right there. If you're just wanting it just for the larger screen, you got your tablet. And like I said, even in a previous video, how to actually make one of these PlayStation Portals yourself with a backbone controller and a Fire tablet. Like I said, it doesn't have all the same features that the PlayStation Portal has, but it does give you a little bit of a larger screen. And actually, it does more, in my personal opinion, than even the PlayStation Portal does. Even the Logitech G Cloud does more than the PlayStation Portal does. And that being said, I honestly kind of considered actually picking up a Logitech G Cloud in place of this, just because even though it is $100 more, but there's sometimes it can go on sale and you guys can find it at a cheaper price for like $250 or even a little lower than that. And I would recommend actually going to Logitech G Cloud over this, just considering the fact that you could do more with the G Cloud over the PlayStation Portal. People are going to end up buying it. People are going to end up going for it, though, just because it is at a cheaper price point than something like the G Cloud or even the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally or any of those other handhelds. Now, price-wise, is on par with something like the Nintendo Switch Lite, but yes, you can't obviously play PlayStation games on the Nintendo Switch, so I can see why some people would, while they would make the argument that the Switch Lite is actually better than you would get with the PlayStation Portal, because you can play games natively and things like that. You're not tethered to the Wi-Fi or whatever all the time. I get it, the fact that there are some games you can't play, things like The Last of Us or Uncharted or God of War. So I get that. I get that argument going in both directions, though. But I don't know. My personal opinion is, if you want to go with one of these cloud streaming devices, like something like the PlayStation Portal, go with the Logitech G Cloud. If you want to go with something that you can play games natively on, go with something like the ROG Ally or even with the Steam Deck. The last two there, the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck, are the better ones to go with because you can actually play games natively on those devices and don't have to really worry about being tethered to Wi-Fi or things like that. This has been just my kind of opinion on the PlayStation Portal and what I think of it. Like I said, I'll probably end up picking up one of these so I can unbox it and let you guys know my just first impressions of having it in my hands. But this is just kind of my impressions on basically what I've seen so far. But I'd like to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you guys going to pick up one of these PlayStation Portals? Are you guys going to skip it completely? I would love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And as always, it's been James Polite Tech. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one.